I know you're sat there, just like I'm sat there, thinking, why have we got a helicopter on a drone channel? A guy who started a drone channel 4 years ago, who's produced nothing but drone videos with maybe 1 or 2 aeroplane videos, has now got a helicopter. And you're right, I agree with you. Why? I think the truth of the matter is you need to come on this journey with me to understand why I'm so excited about this and why you will be as well by the end of it. See, Xiang sent me the F07 UH-1D Huey. It's a 2.4 gigahertz, 6-channel, 1/34th scale RC military helicopter. And they said to me, would you like to do a review of it? And I instantly said yes, because it just looked like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a very long time. And when it arrived, I realized there was a bit of a problem in that I've not flown an RC helicopter for 20 years. And it's all well and good, you can say, yes, but you can fly drones, so you'll be able to fly a helicopter. Skills are not necessarily transferable in that way, are they? So we'll start, first of all, at the unboxing. And it's a fairly easy process, isn't it, really? We take it out of the original box it came in. It comes in this lovely retail presentation box. I got the version that has 1 battery with it. That battery will last between 8 and 12 minutes. It does make the Betafly startup noise when you turn it on, which makes me feel right at home, because that's the noise I hear every single day, hundreds of times a day. So that was nice. It made me feel at home. We've got on it as well, we've got guns, ammunition, and we've got the sort of rear spoiler at the back that we need to attach to it. So we'll do that later on in the video. We'll take it out, we'll have a look at the controller, but instantly I'm grabbed by how good the scale details of this really are. Like, I can tell you that it does this and it does that and it's this and it's that. Look at it. Like, this thing is gorgeous. So I'll take a little bit of emotion out of what we're actually doing just for a second, while we take a look at what's actually included, what you get in the box, what the controller's like, and where we go from here with this incredible piece of technology. So within the box, you'll get a spare pair of rotor propellers, a spare tail fin propeller. You'll get, obviously, the controller. You'll get a little screwdriver to change those propellers with, a USB cable to charge the battery with. Now, the only thing I say is if you do buy one of these, and I'm instantly recommending it, so don't even wait for the end of the video, because I swear, like, I can't tell you how fun this was. But that said, if you do, just make sure you keep hold of the USB cable that comes with it. For some weird reason, the battery would only charge with the specific cable that came with it. Now, I looked at it and it looked like just a normal USB Type-C, so I'm not overly sure why it wouldn't charge with anything else, but que sera. So a few more minor points. You can switch to mode 1. It comes with mode 2, which means that the throttle is on the left-hand side. It can be switched to mode 1. I only know, I think, 1 person in the entire world who I speak to that still flies mode 1. So if you want to switch that, it's on the website. I'm not going to go into details and take up valuable flying time in this video. You could fly it indoors if you've got a large space. I attend, although I haven't done for a while. So guys, if any of you from the club are watching, I do apologise. I don't think I've been for over a year now, just because life's got in the way. But I do attend a fly club. We fly in like a school gymnasium. This will be perfect for flying indoors, something like that. Don't try and fly it in your house unless you are a millionaire and live in a ginormous mansion, in which case, if you do and you are, can we be friends? But if you're not and you don't try and fly it indoors. It's lovely and stable, it's dead easy to use, but it's quite quick and it is quite a hefty weight of mass to move around in a small enclosed indoor space. Don't ask me how I know that. So if we head over to the controller and take a look at the controller, you've got a lock and unlock button for the rotors. If it's in the lock position, it means that you can't arm it. You can't move the rotors in any way, shape or form. You've got a high and low rate switch, and I'll demonstrate later on just how fast it flies in high rates. You can change your mode. You can 1-key land, and there is also, I think, a 1-key inverted switch. But like I said, I didn't necessarily want to do anything like that just yet because it has been so long. And as always, I approach most of my reviews on this channel from a newbie friendly point of view. And being the newbie myself, it just made sense to go to the limit of where a newbie would go to in the first flight, decompress, understand where we are, and then I'll drop some future videos in a few weeks showing how a newbie, or a relative newbie, or a new newbie learns how to refly 3D mode all over again. And I'm sure there'll be times where there's tears, tantrums, and a little bit of broken helicopter. But that's what we're here for, isn't it? So we switch to the field, and obviously we take off for the first maiden flight. And a few things struck me about this. First of all, how smooth it is, how controlled it is. It isn't being buffeted by the wind. It was a cold day. It was a little bit on the breezy side, but it was just so easy to fly. The other thing I really liked about it is it has got nav lights on it, so it's got a red light on one side and a green light on the other side. That makes life so easy when you're flying this thing line of sight, as to know which way it is, what your orientation is, and obviously you can see straight away here I'm throwing it backwards and forwards quite fast already. You know, I'm going over there, and this is all line of sight, which means the aircraft is in visual line of sight, which is part of the drone and modern aircraft code in the UK. But I'm not flying this with goggles, I'm flying this line of sight, so I have to be able to see it, otherwise I wouldn't be able to fly it like this. So now comes the fun part where we've switched it into the high rate mode, which means that the aircraft will tilt more, meaning ultimately it will fly faster, it will be more responsive. Now it's not manual mode, so you still can't flip it, you still can't do tricks, but as we can see, it is flying with more speed and vigor than it was before, and you can tell that when you let go of the controller, because it'll just sort of snap back a lot more. And then obviously as we come over, it's just so much quicker, so much faster, so much more responsive, and really easy and enjoyable to fly. I can't stress that this was the first time that I've flown an RC helicopter in 20 years, and it was just so easy. So we'll just come back to the bench very quickly and just have a quick look at some of the scale details. So we can see on here we've got the guns, we've got the ammo on each side, we've got the red sort of tail fin. The doors will slide open on either side. Within there you can see all the electronics, you can see the main motor, and underneath, as we look underneath, you can see obviously there's a cutout for the motor there just to keep it cool. It's got a lovely little landing gear on it as well, which means that when it settles down it doesn't just dump on the ground. The scale details are fabulous. Now what I want to do with this, and it may take me a little bit to figure out whether or not, in fact I may just ask Xiang if it's possible. Can we take the body apart is going to be my question. I'm going to have a look for screws, I'm going to have a look for divots, and just see if we can actually get in there and take this body apart, because if we can, I'm going to FPV this helicopter. I think it runs on a 2S battery. Gives around about 12 minutes. So if we can get sort of 7-8 minutes of FPV, and I can put the FPV camera within the cockpit behind the windshield, I don't think anybody's going to doubt how incredible that's going to look. So having a quick look at flight number 2. This one was taken actually from a drone. I had a friend come and help me do some of the filming, so we had a drone up, and he was following as best he possibly could. I am quite erratic when I want to just fly crazy fast, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm loving life. And as you can see, it just goes over the tree. I think at one point I try and go under the tree, but the sun was a bit of a nightmare. I wasn't actually wearing my sunglasses, which made it a little bit of a challenge. But like I said, those navigation lights really did help. And at no point did I feel like I was in danger of crashing it or losing it or having any issues with it. It was just such a fun and easy thing to do. And I think the footage from it speaks volumes. I think the footage sort of speaks of how enjoyable and how fun it actually was. So let's just very quickly look at some of the technical specifications before we go into whether I think you should buy one or not. The dimensions are 350mm by 122mm. So that's about 14 inches by about 5 inches. It's a flybarless 3D 6G with optical flow positioning. That was the other thing. And actually, I didn't touch on it, but I will just replay the video showing the wonky landing. Literally, you press a button, the helicopter, because of the optical flow, knows exactly where it is and will land in a precision spot right there. The optical flow positioning will help it relatively hold its position. It doesn't have GPS, but it will hold a relative position without too much of a problem. It uses a 7.4 volt 1200 mAh lipo. Flight time is quoted as being anywhere between 10 and 12 minutes. Control range, they say over 400 feet or 120 meters. Knowing the field that I know it, I probably pushed it to about that. I was still able to see it, obviously, because I was flying line of sight. I can't stress how much those navigation lights really do help you with the visual line of sight. So the control range, not a problem. Age recommendation, I think on the box it says 14 plus. I don't know, maybe 16 plus if I'm honest. Just because it's relatively big rotor, it spins relatively fast, and we all know kids like to stick the fingers in things and hurt themselves. So I'd probably say 16 plus if I'm honest. Package includes obviously one F-07 Huey helicopter. I believe it comes in another color scheme as well. Like I say, you get a charging cable with it, you get 4 propeller blades, smart battery, user manual, transmitter, screwdriver set. Let's just have a quick look actually at that user manual, because it is very detailed and very useful. So it explains to you on the first page about the battery, what the LEDs mean as to what the battery is. It tells you how to do a gyro calibration, how to set up the controllers, what each button is for. Please do a gyro calibration as well, which is the yaw stick up to the top left and the rudder stick down to the bottom right. Hold that, the lights will flash. Make sure it's on a flat surface. I didn't do it on camera because I did it, I mean I should have done really, because I did it in the studio rather than out on the field to make sure it was on a flat surface. It then tells you how to control it, how to fly it, how to switch it into manual mode, how to switch it into 3D mode. Gives you some troubleshooting information as well in case you're having any sort of problems with it. So it is actually a really detailed user manual. It's only a few pages long, so you'd be forgiven initially for thinking it's probably not going to be particularly useful, but actually it really is very useful. But it's a must stress when you buy one of these, because you are going to want to buy one of these. Just please make sure the first thing you do once you turn the helicopter on and once you turn the controller on is you do that gyro calibration, because it may not have been calibrated, it may have been calibrated, it may have gone screwy in transit. And that gyro calibration is going to be the thing that keeps your aircraft, be it a drone or a helicopter or whatever, stable within 3D space. So if that gyro thinks that up is down and down is up, the second you take off, that aircraft is going to go way back to whence it came from. And that's why a lot of flyaways, if ever you're on Facebook or social media and people put, oh, my drone's just flown away, I'm a new pilot, the chance is they haven't done a gyro calibration or at least checked the gyro before they've done the first flight. Now obviously with things like Betaflight, we can plug it into a computer, we can check it, and away you go. We know whether that gyro's working or not. Things like this, err on the side of caution, make sure it's on a completely flat surface, calibrate that gyro before your first flight. So moving on, what does the future hold for squadding quads, helicopters, the Huey, and should you buy it? First of all, I'm going to have a look and see if this body can be taken apart. If this body can be taken apart, I am going to FPV this thing. I am going to fly this FPV over the winter. I promise you that now, and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to keep flying it. I'm going to keep enjoying it. I'm going to move into 3D flying, and I will produce some videos and some vlogs showing how well I'm doing. It won't be very good at first. It will be painful. There will probably be damage, but we'll repair it together as we did with the Xiang, and we'll move forward. As regards to the future of the channel when it comes to other RC as well as drones, this is where I want to be. I held off getting myself a helicopter because I wasn't sure if I was the pilot that I used to be. And after flying this, I am ready to get back into it. I'm ready to do more reviews on more helicopters. I'm being sent some FPV cars, RC cars. And I guess really this is the beginning of the diversification of squadding quads. We started as a drone channel whereby I just dropped random videos on there of me flying, learning to fly, crashing, getting it all wrong. Then we moved into doing a bit of theatrical production, which wasn't particularly brilliant. Then we moved on to reviews, and now we're sort of a hybrid of everything. And drone, helicopters, aeroplanes, cars, and tech reviews, that's where I want to be. So I think this is the start of something special, to be honest with you. So do keep an eye on what we're going to bring to the channel next. I've really really enjoyed this, and this has given me a leg up to just move the channel forward again. We've moved the channel forward a few times this year, but this has helped me do it again. So thank you, UH-1D, for sending me this. Now, to get the elephant in the room out of the way before I say whether you should buy it or not, UH-1D did send me this for free. They won't see this review before it goes out. They haven't given me any talking points whatsoever. Everything in it is completely my own thoughts, feelings and opinions, and I have not been paid for this review in any way, shape or form. And very, very quickly, I just want to thank our members. We've got Barry Morgan FPV, we've got Only Drones, Mark Duplex, Dizzy Dean FPV, Han Solo, Not Here, and Phil Anderson. Tiers start from just $1.99 a month. Please do consider joining them and supporting the channel so that I can bring you more amazing content. But if I haven't earned that from you on this video, then that is absolutely fine. But I will ask that you do me one favor, and that's hit the bell icon to get notified every single time I drop a new video, because we are going to diversify. There's going to be different things, and it may be things that you're interested in, and I would hate for you to miss out on it. So as always, when we do a review, we come to the final question, and that is, should you buy it? And ultimately, I have been able to find nothing wrong with it. It flies really well. It flies exactly for as long as is advertised. You've got spare propellers, you've got a charging cable, you've got an intelligent battery, you've got a controller that comes with it. You don't need anything. You could give this to your husband, your father-in-law, your child for Christmas, and they would be over the moon with it. That's how much I've enjoyed it. So I'm going to give this an unequivocal, absolutely without any shadow of a doubt, answer of yes, you should buy it. There is a link down below. It is an affiliate link. You will not be charged any extra for using that affiliate link, but it will show you, Xiang, that I may well be somebody who is worth working with, and they may well send me a larger helicopter for me to FPV. And you know, guys, when they do that, that's when things are going to get wild. And speaking of wild, if you like wildfires, click on this video link in the end screen now to see what happens when I build a $90 FPV drone using AliExpress parts, and it ends in a towering inferno.